I would like to share with you my trip to Fiji. So recently I did the Life Mastery and Wealth Mastery with Tony Robbins. So it's his program that is done in Fiji, and you can actually do it virtually as well. But when it comes to these events, I recommend if you can do it in person, do it. Even for the business mastery, I think would be okay to do virtually. But again, it's always better to be in person because you're in with the crowd, you're there, the energy, the vibe, the camaraderie is there. You also have a chance to meet so many people. So here is what my take on for Life Mastery and Wealth Mastery, and what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So let's start with what I really do like about Life and Wealth Mastery. I think Tony Robbins, he is definitely a master and a genius at putting these programs together. And what he's really good at it, he's actually make you fly across the country. Well, I'm in the US, so yes, not the country, you fly across the globe to Fiji. There are people a lot of people are from Australia and New Zealand, so it's a shorter flight for them. But for me, it's like a 10-hour flight. But I also met a lot of people from Europe as well, in France and Spain. And they are like, or even from Mexico, like this one couple was taking 5 connections to get to Fiji. That is true commitment there. But it actually, I think, is very worth it to actually be there in person. And this is probably one of the programs where it is the smallest group of any of his programs. Because if you go to UPW, which is Unleash the Power Within, that is easily 10, 12,000 people. If you go to Date with Destiny, that's around 3,000 people. If you go to Business Mastery, same thing. It's like in the thousands. But Life and Wealth Mastery, it in a small group. So this group that I was a part of was only 120 people, which is fantastic because we get a chance to really get to know all the attendees and build connections. And what is really great is that you're there the whole time. And I actually stay at the Wasu Wasu, which is the lodge from Tony Robbins. So he has 2 properties. One is Namale, which is the high-end luxury resort. And then you have Wasu Wasu, which is more of like a lodge and inn. And realize if you are doing Life and Wealth, the event will be held in Wasu Wasu Event Center. So it is a lot easier to just stay on site. And that's what I thought. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to stay on site. I don't want to have to taxi back and forth. So for me, I did not particularly like the lodge. I felt like it was okay, but it could have been better. I felt like by Tony Robbins standard, it should have been better. And my issue is that there's 2 things when you select where you want to stay Wasu Wasu, you have the options of the pool, or the pool view of the ocean view, and then the options of the forest view. So I think the pool view is probably going to be better if you guys decide to go to Wasu Wasu. It is a smaller building, and I think it was built after the Forest View building. And the Forest View building is a lot bigger. So my problem with that lodge is that the water pressure is really bad. So when I'm there, I think I only managed to get 1 good hot shower once the whole week that I was there. So not a fan of that. And for what they charge, I feel like that should have been done and taken care of with the water pressure and the plumbing system, should have been remodeled. And during the middle of the week that we were there, actually, like, it rained quite a bit. And because it rained so much, the filtering system has a hard time. It got overloaded. So it actually really grossed that one of the sink. The water that coming from the sink was brown, and it has like bits in it, which I'm like, okay. And there was like, we're a dough living country and blah, blah, blah. Here's the reason why. But again, right, I mean, you having guests coming from across the globe. Everybody, it's generally whoever attends are typically in a first world country that is coming to Fiji. We are not typically used to seeing brown water. And not to say that, it sounds totally privileged, but we are expecting a certain standard. And with Tony Robbins, he is charging a premium for all his stuff, right? For his event, his hotel, whether you stay at Namale or you stay at Wasu Wasu, it is a premium price. So with that price, I expect the condition to match the price. And so that for me was definitely a no. I did not like that at all. And I mean, I've tried, even with the water pressure, I've tried taking a different time, maybe morning or like afternoon in between you have break or whatnot. But again, it was just ridiculous. I'm just like, this totally sucks. um, so actually, and what I realized, a lot of people was staying across the street. So there's a resort right across the street. It's a slightly higher price, but if you book ahead, I think it's still fairly reasonable, and it's really beautiful beret, ocean view, and they only have, I believe, like 16 beret that you can book, and like literally you walk across the street into Wasu for your event, and it's like 5 minute walk. Not a problem at all. So that if I do this again, I totally would stay across the street at that resort. Either that, or I would stay at a different resort down the street and just take a taxi into Wasu. Because I thought that, since these events are going to be end late at night, it might be an issue finding a ride back if I was staying on site. But actually, now that I have been there, it's not an issue at all, because a lot of staff are at the Wasu Lodge, and they are there to take care of you all the way through until you're done and finished. And they will get a ride for you. They'll call a taxi for you. They'll make sure you will be able to get back to wherever you're staying. So they do take very good care of you. That's definitely a plus in my book. So yeah. So if you are going to go to Fiji, or like, let's say if I was to do this again, I definitely stay either at the resort across the way, or I will stay at a top site and just take a taxi in back and forth into Wasu for the event. That's what I would do differently. In terms of the food, I think most of the people there buy the meal plan. And what I think, personally for me, I think the meal plan is actually overpriced as well. Even though they're all really incredibly delicious, and it is a cleanse. But I do think, even though I think it is overpriced, I think it is worth it for you to actually just buy the meal plan, because it is part of a cleanse. They are giving you very specific food for a very specific purpose. So it is a 7-day event. 4 days is life mastery, and 3 days is wealth mastery. But the cleanse is happening the whole time you're there. So with the cleanse, the first 4 day is literally all vegetable, and we're actually doing a liver cleanse. So what you're eating is all just, there are two things that actually provided for lunch. It is a salad. So you have your lettuce, your tomatoes, your cucumber, and shredded cabbage for the salad, raw, of course. And then the cooked veggie was broccoli and cauliflower. And it is gently steamed broccoli and cauliflower. So if you know ahead, it doesn't sound very appetizing, but I tell you, when I was there, they make it fantastic. They make this dressing of like lemons and I'm thinking maybe sugar or honey to go with the dressing, and it's actually pretty good. And it is such clean eating. It's so clean. You are not eating any oil, nothing. There is no oil, not even nuts on your first 4 days, because you are going all on just veggie. There is not even the only seasoning you get is salt and pepper and chili. That's it. So that's your lunch for 4 days in a row, like the exact same thing. And then in the beginning, I was like, why are we eating the exact same thing for lunch for so many days? And it turns out, and I learned later on, that actually because broccoli and cauliflower are cruciferous, and it's a type of vegetable that has these mineral or nutrient where it can cleanse your liver. And that's why we eat it for 7 days in a row. There is a very much specific purpose for everything that you eat there. And every morning you wake up with, when you get there, is lemon water and celery juice. I believe it is cold pressed. It definitely, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of celery juice, but I drank it. I feel great. And you get a smoothie for breakfast. And it's kind of like usually a fruit with some other powder. I don't know what I put in there, but it is very yummy. And then you get your lunch with veggie, and then you later on will get a snack, and you have your break, the 3 hour break. When you come back, usually they'll let you have like a drink, and it's a honey ginger lemon water drink, so tea drink. It's super delicious. It's really good. And then dinner is something very light. And it could be like a smoothie style, something bland. And then at the end of the night, you get a broth. So that is more or less the menu for the cleanse. And for me, I actually never felt hungry, but I ate a lot. Like my morning, I drink at least 2 cups of celery juice, 1 cup of the lemon water. So I am fully hydrated all day. And even during the whole day, I'm drinking water all the time. They have water for you. They have electrolyte. They have salted salt water, tea, herbal tea. So yeah, that's the other thing. There will be no dairy, no caffeine, none of that. Just water, electrolytes, or Celtic sea salt water. And fruit. They do have fruit at the event. So you have your apples, pear, and oranges. And you can eat that whenever they have it laid out for you to just snack on at any time. So food wise, I've never felt hungry. Even for my lunch, I ate like a whole plate of veggie, and I'm like, okay, salad is just gonna get digested really fast. I'm gonna be hungry later. But it's surprisingly, I feel very full and very satisfied, very satiated. So not even an issue. So for some people, when they do the cleanse or the live, they worry, oh, maybe that they might get hungry, or they might not feel up. I did not have that problem at all. And I think the great things about it, because there are people who did not buy the meal plan and they kind of bring their own food. I was saying, you know what, it is worth it to just get the meal plan, because then you don't have to think about it. And by the way, in a span of 7 days, I dropped 5 pounds. And I feel incredible. Like I did not ever feel like low in energy. I did not feel hunger. I didn't even realize I was dropping in weight until by the end. I was like, wow, my clothes fit better on me right now. So that's a huge plus. So I would definitely do that. During the wealth mastery is when you actually, the last 3 days of the event is actually when they start introducing a little bit of oil into it. And yeah, day 4, you get avocado, by the way. And it's the best avocado I've ever tasted. I mean, after 4 days of eating just salad and cauliflower and broccoli, anything you gave me was just so delicious. And that's also the day that you actually can get some nuts. And also they're like, only 12 nuts, not more than 12 nuts. And so the last 4 days when we actually get some protein, and that's only, the lunch is actually the biggest meal. You still get the same thing, your salad, your cauliflower and broccoli, but you get a protein, whereas day 5, you get, what was it? A grilled fish. It was so yummy. And then it was chicken. And then the last day was beef with broccoli and quinoa. But again, it's cooked very light. There's not much oil in it. But it was incredibly delicious. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how can something so simple taste so good? Because even the fish, when it was grilled, it just grilled fish. There is no seasoning. There's nothing on there. You essentially add on more salt as you like and pepper. So I had to think to myself, well, it may be because for 4 days, all I eat was steamed vegetables. So anything else I eat, it has to be just incredibly yummy. So yeah. And for these events, I really love because, you get to know a lot of people. When you go to UPW or Day with Destiny or Business Mastery, there are so many people. Or even when you do it virtually, it's really hard to really build a good, strong connection or a lasting connection. But with this, because we see each other all the time, we see each other in the morning when we do our team building activities. We see each other during the meeting. We talk when we break out, and there's a lot of sharing and getting to know each other. When we're sharing a meal for lunch, we're all sitting together, getting to know different people, getting to know where they're from, what they're looking for to gain, things like that. It's definitely have I feel a stronger connection, and I really enjoy that. Because we are in a smaller setting, I feel people also feel more comfortable in sharing what they're thinking and what they're feeling. So there was a lot of vulnerability where people were going, this is what I'm feeling. And again, right? I mean, for some people, this is the first time they're on a cleanse. So they may have some reaction that is not great because some people have, headache. And for me, because I'm a coffee drinker, and I knew that coffees were gonna get cut out when I go into this retreat. So I actually drank even more coffee. I'm not one of those where I'm gonna slowly prep myself to the cleanse. Now I'm like, I'm about to go on a cleanse. I'm gonna eat everything and drink everything that I would want. So I definitely drank a lot of coffee. So for like give or take about 5-6 days, I was having the caffeine withdrawal and it was horrible. I mean, like I feel lightheaded, I'm headache. It was all sort of wrong. But I also knew that it was my body reacting to this new environment, being on such a really clean and good diet. It's just part of it. And right now, even after the 7 days, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna touch coffee anymore. When we finish, I'm like, I decide I'm not gonna touch coffee anymore. I'll still drink green teas and things like that, but no more coffee. And when I get home after a week, I was like, I kind of missed it. Let me just have one cup. So I went and got my favorite Vietnamese coffee. And oh my gosh, once your body is so cleansed and doesn't have any more caffeine in your system anymore, this coffee just wrecked me. Because that night after I drank it, I could not sleep. My sleep were just horrendous. I couldn't fall asleep. And when I do fall asleep, I would wake up. And so really now, no more for sure. No more caffeine for me. And I'm going to say that I'm a recovered caffeine-holic now.